Alright, hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the video for Tower Fantasy. My name is Ventus. What's good? Alright, guys, in this Tower Fantasy video guide, I'm going to be breaking down Icarus, giving you his best teams, his best weapon chips, his best relics, and overall best builds. Now, real quickly, if you're new here, please subscribe to this channel with all notifications turned on, and then if this video was helpful, come on back to my YouTube channel and check out some more of the videos that I've made on Tower Fantasy. I've got a playlist with like 1 million videos on that could be very helpful to you. And if you have any questions about this or anything else Tower Fantasy related, go ahead and drop them down in the comments, and please follow me on Twitter because sometimes YouTube notifications are jank. My Twitter is VSGN Social. Man, I'm everywhere. VSGN Social, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. It's VSGN Social, all one word. The link will be in the description. All right, so let's get into this guide. Alright, the first team I want to show you is the one that I had the most fun playing with, and that's going to be this one. It's going to be Yu'lon in Sweeping Force form, and then Saki. My Yu'lon is at A3, my Saki is at A1, and Icarus at 0. So what's really good about this team is you've got Sweeping Force form Yu'lon A3. A3 Yu'lon has the ability to get her some health back whenever you use her technique. It's called, it's her A3 rather. It's like in martial arts form, if internal strength is not obtained within 5 seconds, the next acquisition of internal strength will grant 2 counts. In any form, when unity consumes 3 or more internal strength or fighting spirit, restore 10% of the Wanderer's max HP. In solo play, the HP recovery is increased 20%. This effect can only trigger 1 time every 8 seconds. And what's also cool about Yu'lon is her discharge skill. And I'll go ahead and read that really quickly. So her discharge skill says, when weapon charge is full or rotation is triggered upon switching to this weapon, remove all debuffs from the Wanderer, dealing damage up to 1,173.1% of attack plus 4,812 nearby targets and strongly launch them. During this period, gain damage immunity for 1.5 seconds. After observe and react lands a hit, increase frost damage by 12% for 30 seconds. After observe and react lands a hit, enter the anticipate state for 60 seconds. After using Unity to use a discharge skill, receive 1,000 weapon charge. This effect can only be triggered 1 time every 10 seconds. So when putting this build together, I was like, so what's going to be the best use of Icarus for a team? Because Icarus is not meant to be an on-field DPS. He has an ability where you hit his skill, and there's going to be like an AoE that just sits out there and it does damage even when he's not on the field. So he's meant to get on, get out. He has a discharge skill that shoots this giant ice ball that like is great for shatter. So I said, you know what, use Sweeping Force Yu'lon because you use her discharge skill, you get his discharge skill instantly. And then for like on-field DPS, I can either go for Yu'lon or I can use Saki. I know Saki's like a fortitude weapon, but Saki has her own thing that's meant to get health back, and I'll read that right now. It's her Silent Flow Concentrated Stream. It says, cast the Silent Flow skills to begin charging for up to 3 seconds, continuously taunting nearby targets and absorbing damage up to 60% of max HP. At the end of the charge, deal frost damage equal to 408% of frost attack plus 50% of absorbed damage to targets, and 20% of the unconsumed value is converted to HP recovery. Cooldown 30 seconds. So that's really cool with this team. You can sort of like go in without like a support weapon. You don't need heals. This team is going to keep you alive. So that's the main reason why I enjoyed playing with this team. I didn't need a healing weapon. I can just go in, I can fight, I can see some really cool animations. Alright, so this thing I want to tell you about is the relic combinations that I put together for Icarus. These seem to work the best for me. The first one is going to be Alternate Destiny with Confinement Ring. The second one is going to be Alternate Destiny with Kuhan Shield Type 1 or Type 2. And then we've got Tholastic Heart with Confinement Ring. And then also Space-Time Rift works really good with any of these. Alright, so the next team I want to tell you about in this video is going to be another one that's super fun to me. It's a Fortitude Resonance team, and it's going to use Meryl and Saki. Now, when you are in Fortitude Resonance, Icarus has a special ability. So his regular skill is called Return to Loneliness, and Return to Loneliness says, use Cap Knowledge to obtain up to 2 uses of the new skill Return to Loneliness. This skill can only be used while Desolate Day is in cooldown. Deal skill damage equal to 440% of attack plus 1,805. While the skill is in use, reduce damage taken by 50% and recover 5% of max HP. This cannot be affected by any incoming or outgoing healing boost effects. Recovery and damage reduction will not take effect in Apex League. While Fortitude Resonance is active, use Return to Loneliness and taunt nearby targets to gain 1 stack of blocking shield, up to 3 stacks for 20 seconds. Blocking points are equal to the sum of the Wanderer's 5 resistance types. When the blocking shield is used up or overflows, deal damage equal to 200% of blocking points to the main target. That is huge. And, you know, Meryl has her own stuff for defense, and Saki, like we already talked about, has her own stuff for defense. So this team is super good. It was super fun because I actually enjoy using Meryl so much because of the animations for Meryl specifically. But this team is just super tanky, and Saki has her ability to give some health back whenever you use her technique like I talked about earlier, and you just don't take that much damage while you're with this team, so I was able to do the highest joint off and just survive and win without taking like that much damage. So you don't really need a support character or a support weapon when you use the Fortitude Resonance with Icarus because he has special bonuses, and this is at A0. Alright, yo, so the next team I want to show you is one that's specifically made for survivability. It's made for solo play. You've got a support weapon that's going to be Fiona. My Fiona is A3. A3, she gets an execute. And then you've got Yulan with her own stuff to get her health back. So you've got two characters, two weapons on the team that are continuously just giving health back to the character. So that makes it perfect for solo play when you're doing these solo joint ops. Now, really quickly, before I forget this, every team that I've been using, including this team, has been using the Awakening trait for Icarus. And I'll go ahead and read the Awakening traits for Icarus. The first one is called Hoarfrost, and it says, after equipping Precious 1, increase final damage by 10%, while using Precious 1, increase Shatter by 20%. And then the second Awakening says Molten Feathers, and it says, after equipping Precious 1, increased final damage by 15%, while using Precious 1, increase Shatter by 45%. So it's very basic in its like application, but it gets the job done. And I'll tell you that final damage is actually really, really good. Alright, so how I like to use this team is pretty basic, man. It's kind of like how I used Yulan in the first team, where Yulan uses her discharge. She gets that 1,000 discharge energy to use another discharge, and if my health is low, I'll either use Fiona, and then after I use Fiona, I will probably, after one dodge skill, use a Fiona, because her Torrential Force, I have that as my on-field skill for my Fiona. So you use Torrential Force, and that gives you a little bit of weapon charge. You increase all your damage at the same time. Now I might need to do one or two dodge skills, and you have another discharge ready to go. Then I can go ahead and hit Icarus's discharge, or if I don't need any health, I can just go ahead and hit Yulan's discharge, and then hit Icarus's discharge, hit Icarus's skill, and then go back to Yulan as the on-field DPS. The main thing here is to keep getting as much discharge as possible, so I can keep doing Icarus's discharge skill to get that damage out. And as an extra added bonus, Yulan has her own healing abilities, and Fiona is a support weapon that is specifically made for healing. So if my health does dip down a little bit, I can bring it back. But honestly, using Yulan, your health is not going to go down that low if you have her at A3. Alright, so now I'll tell you about the weapon chips that I've been using on Icarus with all of these builds. These just seem to work the best for me. If you have any suggestions for weapon chips, let me know down in the comments. I get it, the Habuela and the Scylla chips, they are perfect. I don't have those yet, so forgive me for not mentioning those. I can't mention weapon chips that I don't have because I can't show you the results of those chips, but I fully understand that Habuela and Scylla, those are really good weapon chips. But I just don't have them, so I can't tell you about them. But what I can tell you about are these weapon chips. 2-piece Shiro, 2-piece Saki works great. 2-piece Saki, 2-piece Yulan works absolutely amazing. 2-piece Saki, 2-piece Yulan was actually the one that I used the absolute most and I had the most like success with. 2-piece Frigg, 2-piece Shiro works as well. A 4-piece Shiro works good as well. And then 2-piece Shiro, 2-piece Samir. 2-piece Shiro, 2-piece Samir, that's going to be like the all-time ever budget DPS weapon chip set. So if you have a new DPS weapon and you're not sure exactly what to put on them, 2-piece Shiro, 2-piece Samir, that's going to be your go-to almost every single time. But for a certainty, that 2-piece Saki, 2-piece Yulan, that was great. 2-piece Shiro, 2-piece Saki, that one's also as good. But, you know, all of them are pretty good, but 2-piece Saki, 2-piece Shiro was good. 2-piece Saki, 2-piece Yulan, super good. Alright, and the final team I want to tell you about in this video is probably going to be the absolute best Frost DPS team that you can use right now today as of making this video, at least in my opinion, and it's going to be Sweeping Force Yulan, Ling Han, and then Icarus. I have my Yulan at A3, and then my Ling Han is at A2 now, A2 on Ling Han. Now for this one, I switched off of using Icarus's Awakening trait, and I used Ling Han's Awakening trait. So the first one says, Overwatching Blade, increase final damage by 13% when Alabaster Tiger's equipped. For every one Frost weapon equipped, increase Frost damage by 1%, but it's the second one, the Governing Blade, the one that matters the most. Increase final damage by 18% when Alabaster Tiger is equipped. Gain damage immunity for 4 seconds when using Sword Art Icy Beacon. For every one Frost weapon equipped, increased Frost damage by 2.5%. When 3 Frost weapons are equipped, gain an additional 350 weapon charge after the Wanderer uses any Frost weapon skill. After using any Frost weapon skill or discharge other than Alabaster Tiger, deal additional damage equal to 1,456% of attack, to nearby targets. So this team is so unbelievably brain dead good, it is ridiculous. Alright, so how I use this team is this. You start off with Yu'lon, get Yu'lon's discharge. You get her discharge, you get 1000 discharge energy back because Yu'lon's in sweeping force form. And then you hit Ling Han's discharge. Use Ling Han's discharge, use her skill. When you use her discharge, when that tiger comes down on this field, you're going to have an increased damage. You're going to get a damage boost for a little bit of time. So the next discharge that you do should be Icarus, so you can get incredible amounts of damage. Use his discharge, use his skill, get him off the field, and then you're probably going to have another discharge after that if you use the skill, because you're going to get 350 weapon charge from the Ling Han. And if you don't have it, do a couple of dodge skills, do a couple of regular attacks, then you go back to Yu'lon, use her discharge, and you have another discharge ready to go. Do a couple of attacks with Yu'lon, get her internal strength or fighting spirit up, get some health back if you need to, use one of your relics if you need to, maybe alternate destiny to get some health back, or whatever the case may be. Use a relic and then keep fighting with Yu'lon as on-screen DPS. Honestly, you can switch out between Yu'lon or Ling Han being on-screen DPS because they're both good on the DPS. Ling Han just has really good, just extra damage. I guess that's the best way I can call it. I mean, like, Yu'lon, you have her doing her damage, like she's fighting with her fist. You don't really have any, like, extra outside sources of damage coming in, but when you use Ling Han, she's got all these sword arrays and just swords just flying down, just dealing extra damage. So honestly, at this point, I can't tell you which one is better for DPS. They both are super good. So either or. You can use it either or for your on-field DPS, but however, if you do want to utilize A3 Yu'lon, you're going to have, well, I guess it says with A3, you don't really have to have her on the field. It's using any weapon. You can get internal strength or fighting spirit or whatever the case may be, but to be on the safe side, use Yu'lon, have her on screen, do her attacks, do her dodge skills, and then you can use her abilities to gain some health back if you are falling low. But honestly, man, with this team, things are going to die before they have a chance to kill you. So this team is super, super good. Let me know what you think about this team down in the comments. And honestly, let me know what you think about this entire video down in the comments. Did you like it? If you have any suggestions, questions about it, I would love to hear about it in the comments and I can answer it. If you have anything you want to see in the future for Tower Fantasy, just let me know that too, and I'll try to get it out there. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video, man. I told you everything. The best builds, matrices, relics, teams. Alright, so that's it. Alright, guys, my name is Ventus SG, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.